Welcome to the Little Girl Podcast, the show where purpose meets inspiration. Each week, I sit down with incredible individuals who open up about their real life journeys, the wins, the setbacks, and the lessons in between. So, whether you're navigating career moves, entrepreneurship, or personal growth, you're in the right place. I'm Kyra Mitchell Lewis, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's go up together. All right, my friends, happy Thursday. Hope you all are having a fantastic week. Hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you well. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Wherever you are, make sure you're carving out time to be kind to yourself. Now, we talk a lot about being kind to others, which is definitely something we should do. But make sure in that space that you also set aside time for you to take care of you. I think sometimes we forget that. Okay. Well, I'm really excited about the conversation today. I'm going to be talking here shortly with Prerna Sharma. She is the founder of Step Zero, a beauty tools brand redefining no makeup beauty. So, what we're going to be talking about is really how to create space in a crowded market. So, if you think about the beauty industry, it is a very crowded space, but Prey has found a way to find success and a way to find and carve out a niche for what her business does and what she brings to her target audience. So, if you are thinking about, starting a business, or if you are already a business owner and you're just looking for new ways to perhaps reach your your audience or your target audience, and you're looking for maybe some ways to carve out some unique things about your brand, I think you'll want to hear this. So let's bring Prey into the show. All right. I'm so excited to welcome Prerna to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here and talking to you about some of my favorite things. Uh,
Yes. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't you get us started by telling everyone listening or watching who you are and what you do?
awesome. My name is Prerna. I'm the founder of Step Zero. Step Zero is a shower care brand for busy people. And it really came around from my own personal insight of if my skincare was not getting done in the shower, it's not getting done at all. I launched this business. I started working on it 2 years back, but I really officially launched it only last year. And it has been a fantastic journey in creativity and learning a lot of patience and grace. I started out my career in consulting and I spent about 8 years in product marketing on tech products. And that's where I really lent into the skills around messaging, positioning, storytelling. And that's what I'm so excited to talk to you about today. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, just want to say congratulations on your business. I think it's pretty awesome because I feel like the best businesses are ones where you are solving a problem, right? And you're solving like something that's personal to you. Um, I feel like those things like sort of like they're built from like the heart.
That is so true because you're going to be spending so many hours and so many years of your life trying to grow something meaningful. And if you don't already enjoy it, if you don't already are in love with it, it's going to be a very difficult road. It's hard as is. So it's just you just make your life easier if it's already something that you're interested in, coming from a pain point that you already deeply understand and can get behind. And that brings in so much more authenticity into your work and in your life.
Yes. Well, let's go ahead and dive in because this is a really important conversation and it's something that a lot of people struggle with, is really finding that story, figuring out how to create messaging for their brands. And I think a really cool thing about you, obviously, you have the experience in marketing products, but also like the space that you're in now. It's a very crowded space. as far as health and beauty and wellness. So let's start by you talking about the importance of having clear messaging. Like, what role does that play in growing a small business, or even for those who are trying to build their personal brands?
Definitely. I think having clear messaging is one of the first few things you need to be working on if you're trying to grow or launch a small business or even a personal brand. And I want to clarify that when we're talking about messaging, it is different from copywriting, it is different from design, and it's different from storytelling even. It is so much more foundational than that. I would say it is kind of something that anchors your storytelling and your copywriting down the line. At its core, clear messaging is really just about knowing who your target audience is and what is the key takeaway that you want them to have. So, if somebody lands on your website, they look at your packaging, they see an Instagram post or a social media ad or anywhere, can they look at that message and be like, okay, this was written for me, this is about me, and I can see myself in it? The actual words and the tone and the flair that you add to it, all of that can vary depending on the platform or the specific segment that you're talking to, but the core message itself, that stays the same.
Mm.
It's really about asking yourself, who is my target audience and what do I want them to know about my brand or my business or my products? So the core message stays the same, and it kind of anchors the storytelling around it, that really follows the having that clarity in messaging.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot of times people, find a challenge in that and they sometimes want to go, like you mentioned, straight to the storytelling, right? Without doing because a lot of the core messaging is built on research.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I struggled with it before I really understood the nuances of what messaging is, what positioning is, and what storytelling is. Because I think our default as humans is to lean into stories, right?
Mhm.
And we tell stories every day. And now with social media, especially, like everybody is kind of trying to tell a story. But what happens is that we try to tell a story, but it ends up not resonating with our target audience, because if you don't have clarity in your messaging, in that you don't know who your target audience is and what do they care about, and so what can you message about, you end up kind of speaking to everyone at the same time about everything.
Mhm.
What happens is that you end up speaking to nobody about nothing in particular, and then nobody really cares. And
Yeah.
so it is very important to be able to have that clarity in the beginning before you start to think about your storytelling. And I see storytelling on two different levels or two different planes, so to say. One is your core brand story. What is it? Why you started the business, and what this need that you saw and why you built this, something that you can rally behind, something that serves as that north star for all of your values, and people really start to associate that story with your brand. And then there are micro stories, or there are micro moments, what you see in terms of behind the scenes about a product launch that failed, or a customer story about how they were struggling with a problem for years, and then when they found your product or your business, and it was able to really help them. And those are the stories that really help people resonate with your business and your products. Those are the stories that build that trust. And most importantly, I think it is stories that help people remember the details about your brand.
Mhm.
Think about it, on a given day, you and I, everybody is so, we are inundated with messaging from different brands, businesses, people, influencers, creators. Nobody's really paying all that much attention, so
Mhm.
if you don't lean on stories to convey your message, you're not going to be able to be remembered. But if you try to tell a lot of stories without having clarity in messaging, people will just end up getting this muddy noise, confusion around what your brand is or what your product is, and they'll be entertained by the story, but that doesn't mean that it'll help you get to your actually converting them into a community or converting them into customers or clients that you want.
Mhm.
And so I would say that this is definitely a challenge that people face. It is
Mhm.
easy to jump to telling a story than doing the dirty work of coming up with clear
Mhm.
messaging. And the problem also happens because you can think that you're trying to reach a certain kind of audience, but without trying to go too narrow, you end up going too deep. And people are scared to go narrow because it means that you're TAM, your total addressable market is smaller, your the number of people that you're reaching is small, and everybody wants to be big and everybody wants to take their business to the next level and have a lot more clients and things like that. But when you're starting out, when you don't have the brand name behind you, when you don't have inbuilt awareness, you have to kind of start narrow, have clarity in messaging, convey that with stories, and then from there grow and go broader.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. I think that is very smart. When you were speaking, it just reminds me of something I always tell people. I'm like, you can't be all things to all people. And like you said, when you try that, then you just get lost in a convoluted space of everyone sort of telling the same stories because, like you mentioned, especially on social media, I mean, there are people who I'll use like TikTok, for example. If you see something on TikTok and you like it, then you're going to see like 10 other stories that are pretty much telling the same story and offering the same link to buy the same thing almost. And you're trying to figure out, then it's just a matter of like, for me, it's like, well, who truly resonated, And then, like, if I can dig deeper into what they talk about to see, as opposed to just like clicking on something because it's like, well, I've seen it 10 times and I'm going to buy it. I mean, I know that works. I mean, it resonates sometimes, but I do think that's important, even if the audience size is small to begin with, but then you'll grow. You'll grow from that because you have a true understanding of you'll build community and you'll build those people who truly see your product as something that solves for something or something that feels like, yeah, wow, like that's so relatable. She got me. Like she gets me, and then they'll tell somebody else and then it'll grow. It'll just grow organically versus you just spending a lot of money, especially in today's age. I mean, you spend a lot of money trying to do ads, Google, all these things, and and if you don't have a focus area and the right people, like you mentioned, you're just in a sea of same.
That is so true. And these days it is so it we have so many channels to promote our businesses and our brands that if
Mhm.
you don't know who you're trying to go after, the channel that works for them and the message that you want to say, it's so easy to kind of end up wasting a lot of money and energy and time and then feeling discouraged. But if you start with clear messaging, it makes life so much easier.
Yes. And I know like people may be thinking, well, I hear you're saying like I need to do this. And I believe it truly like it starts with like research and understanding like the people. Now, what can you say to someone who may be saying, well, I don't have money to pay for like research and all that stuff. What would you recommend to them to get started?
In the beginning it is such a rough and dirty process. Like, this is not supposed to be very fine tuned, and you don't have to go hire an expensive agencies and throw a bunch of money doing deep studies and deep research work. There's so many resources available to us out there. I have spent time on Reddit, on community forums, trying to draw those initial insights. What we
Mhm.
said in the beginning, it's always great if you can already understand the problem, but I understand that that's not always the case. So the process really starts out very rough and dirty. You kind of come up with some hypothesis around who your target audience is and what works for them, what pain points are they living with, and what messaging could work for them. From there, what I try to do is to have actual conversations. It is not enough to sit in front of your laptop and try to, do this in a silo. You have to go and talk to people. You have to go and talk to people who are your actual audience. You can talk to friends and family if they are relevant to your target audience, but if not, then you have to go and actually find people, whether that is at
Mhm.
pop-up markets, that is you can do it online by actually connecting with people in forums or in communities, but you need to get that initial run of people who you can actually speak with and build from the rough and dirty work that you did, build on that. So this is not going to be perfect from the get go, but you have to start in that place, have those initial conversations, improvise. And the next thing that I like to do is run some low budget ads. When you have that initial messaging, you want to you want to test it out with some scale. And running some low budget traffic or awareness ads are a great way. Just throw together a landing page. Doesn't have to be highly developed, heavily branded, just enough to really convey that message in simple terms and see if it's resonating, see if people are actually clicking through to your product page, or see if they're leaving behind their email address, or see if following as you're running those ads, are you getting traction on social media, are your branded keywords search is improving or not. And so running like very low budget ads is a great way to also test out your messaging in the beginning. It's a simple A B test. You try to run two different messages, see what is working better, and improvise from there. So it's a constant iterative process. You don't need to spend a lot of money upfront. Of course, there will be a time when things are big and things are growing, and you want to reach an even bigger audience, and there is a time and place for that. But when I launched my business, or if I were launching a business, or even now when we launch new products, that is what we do.
Mhm.
Come up with a hypothesis, improve, test, and improvise from there.
Mhm. Oh, I love that because I think that, I think it also removes like the barriers of, sometimes people get analysis paralysis about like actually taking the step to put something out there. So I love the idea of doing like, A/B and then seeing what people resonate with and just having the conversations like you mentioned. And I think that's a great way and a very budget-friendly way to be able to find out if what you're going to provide to the world is something that is resonating with the people you say you want it to. So I think those are everybody, I hope you're listening. Those are some really great tips to help you. Now, Prerna, when you were doing your initial like early testing, when you first launched your brand, did you find, as you test the A/B tested, did you find like, oh, okay, well, did you find that maybe one worked better that you thought maybe wasn't gonna work better? Like, what was that experience?
Yeah, definitely. I can talk about one of the products that we launched and how I was able to narrow down from like two ideas of messaging that I had. So
Mhm,
last year we launched our body guasha product. This is made with 100% stainless steel, and it is a fantastic massage tool for all of your body.
mhm,
When I was thinking about where I want to position this product, because this is something which already exists out there. If you Google it or look on Amazon, you'll find body gosha options out there. But what I really wanted to bring this to was an audience of corporate professionals or office workers, because those are the people that we try to target. And
mhm,
one of the insights was that these are the people who are sitting in front of their laptop for 10, 12 hours a day, or they're going into an office and sitting hunched over their laptop.
mhm,
These are also the people who care about their fitness, and so they would go to the gym or go for some workout classes and typically try to do something which is like heavy duty, high intensity.
mhm,
And so for the body gua sha product, there were two lines of messaging that could potentially work for this audience. One of them was for after office, when you're sitting hunched in front of your laptop, you get tech neck, you get tension headaches, you are gritting your jaw. And body gua sha is a fantastic tool to relieve that tech neck. Even
mhm,
2 minutes a day, these are busy people. They don't want to spend a lot of time, doing
mhm,
massage exercise every day. So even 2 minutes of your time, just on your leave it on your desk, body wash as a tool to help you relieve that tech neck.
mhm,
Or we could go with after your workout, after your high intensity workout, use the body gua sha to really relieve that, or if you're a runner, to really relieve your sore muscles. Both of these messaging are absolutely correct. Both of these messaging would potentially work. But for me, when I'm launching the product, I have to pick a lane. And this is where like having that clarity about the audience really works. And how
mhm,
I went about this exactly what I described in the beginning. I did the rough and dirty work. I knew that these were the two messaging parts that I could take. From there, I actually went and had conversations with people from this segment, asking them what was a bigger pain point, what do they really care about. And what I learned was that there are several tools out there, or there are already like foam massagers or things out there that people are using to relieve after workout. So that was a
mhm,
problem that they were aware of, but also some solutions that they're already aware of, but nothing for tech neck, nothing which was helping them relieve that
mhm,
within 2 minutes, relieve after spending hours in front of a laptop. And so that was the lane that I picked. So it was
mhm,
important to have that hypothesis and then have those conversations. And then even now, when we get feedback from customers, that's what I hear, that people say that there's nothing else out there. People are like, 5 minutes before my Zoom meeting, I'm doing
mhm,
I'm waiting for people to come onto the call, or if I just get a minute, this is what I'm doing, like setting, even when I'm sitting in front of my laptop. So that's
Mhm.
how I go about thinking about messaging and actually incorporating it during our product launches and our post launch marketing.
Awesome. And what are some ways that you've been able to incorporate more of that storytelling into your brand as well?
Yeah. The biggest thing that I had to do to incorporate more storytelling for my brand really was get over my camera shyness. Um, if you look on my Instagram for my brand, it's called Shop Step Zero on Instagram. There are a lot of founder stories and behind the scenes that I lean into, and the reason for that is that everybody is being marketed to all the time, and people don't want to be marketed to. People want to
Mhm.
hear the actual stories. They want to know what is Step Zero, why did I start it, why am I the person to be running this brand, and then as I'm launching new products, what is the story behind the product? What are the product fails that are happening? What is the what how am I thinking about marketing and reaching people, and what things am I learning? So it's the actual stories that people really get behind. And so I've had to really, in the beginning, I was camera shy, and my guess is that a lot of people are, but
Mhm.
this is actually a really fun thing to do. Once you start getting into the groove of it, you realize that we're all hardwired to tell and listen to stories. I enjoy it so much to just go on Instagram and talk about the behind the scenes. When we were launching our body oils last year, these are after shower body oils, so a different kind of positioning and messaging. That body Generally people market body oils as something that you just apply as a moisturizer, but our body oil is created for after shower use. And so how do you incorporate that in your shower routine? So I really created this content series where um, we did a bunch of content for pre-launch, which was how did the idea come to be, why is it different, and how am I going about actually developing the product. And then after the launch, talking about stories about how am I incorporating this easily as a working professional in my life during around my shower
Mhm.
time, etc. So really leaning into stories with social media. Reels have made life easier to tell stories in that sense, but you kind of have to find your groove, and you have to find what you actually
Mhm.
enjoy doing. I also know of other brands that really lean into emails, because that is, you don't have to show your face in there, and you can do it in your own, in the safety of your
Mhm.
without the camera. And so utilizing emails to actually tell your story, and when somebody joins your email list, really taking them through that story through a series of welcome emails, talking about the same things, why you started the business.
Mhm.
Have them buy in, have them build that, let them see what your brand is all about, what you're all about. And so welcome series is another way, is a fantastic tool to in which, like, we also try to tell the story about the business.
Mhm. Oh, those are great. I love those. I think those are great strategies. And I love that there's two options, right? Like if you're not immediately ready to go on camera, you can send email, but you can also tell the story of the brand via the email. Whether maybe it's like a recorded video you make and put in there. But I do just think I agree with you. I think that's really important because people are very intrigued with like the why and why you and I think it's more or less like people finding people who are like them. And I think that's like what's important. And that's why people lean into brands. It's because, and especially like more like brands that are like either smaller or just starting or where they are founder led and you have the founder telling you why they started this brand. I think people just lean into that more because then they're like, oh wow, like they're like me. They have the same struggles. And I just think there's something to that because we are in a world in the sea of like everybody just talking at us all day long. And when you like find that authenticity, I know like it's a word that, we use all the time, but it's still so true. Like you're really just trying to find people who really feel like authentically like you.
For sure. And I will say that, it is easy when you listen to terms like authenticity and community, and you're like, yeah, these sound like fuzzy terms. How do I actually practically go about doing this for my business or my service, I think it's easy to like, or it's rather it's hard to just be on the sidelines and thinking of these as some esoteric things that you have to try to figure out. But you really have to get your feet wet. You have to dive in. You have to start thinking about if you're putting out stories into the world. And as you do that, you really do find your groove. You find that pocket of storytelling that you enjoy and your audience enjoys, and that brings in the authenticity because you're enjoying it, and that's very palpable in the way you talk and the way you present yourself. And I don't mean that everybody needs to now go and show their face on
Mhm.
camera.
Mhm.
There's so many creative ways to be doing this. I know Substack as a channel is growing so much, and I know there are so many brands that are launching now, especially in the beauty space, that are launching with Substack newsletters by the founders. And so this is a really good way to tell your story, establish your credibility, make people aware of your brand and bring them into your fold without having to be on camera. And maybe it's a written word that is the medium that you prefer as opposed to talking on video. And Substack is really making that possible for a lot of businesses,
Mhm.
founders out there. So that's another channel that I haven't explored myself, but I read a lot of other Substacks
Mhm.
from other brands, and it's very entertaining. It has good recall, so that's another strategy that I would throw in there.
Awesome. I love it. You're just giving us all the good tips today. So Prina, what's next for step 0?
So, Step Zero is on a very exciting path. We are launching at Anthropology in July, which I'm very excited about. They're fantastic to work with, and I'm so excited to bring Step Zero to a new segment. And as a retailer, I think they're the perfect partners. So I'm excited for that. We also have two product launches in early Q3. Both of the products have been asked by our community. Uh,
Mm.
so these were not on our product lineup initially, but then as we got feedback and we saw people frequently asking about how to use the gua sha and what oil to use with it. So one of the products is the gua sha facial oil. So the holiday season is going to be very exciting. We have lots of good products and promotions and distribution coming up. So very excited for both of these things.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Um, why don't you tell the audience where they can connect to you and how they can find your products?
Yeah, we are on Instagram as Shop Step Zero, so I'm happy to connect, have people follow us there. You can see our website at www.shop-stepzero.com. And I'm on LinkedIn with my name, Prerna Sharma. It's a very unique name, so you'll find me easily if you look up the brand name or myself. And I'm happy to connect with anyone looking for just to share notes as a business owner, or help out in any way that I can.
Awesome. Well, that was so great. You really gave a lot of great advice today. So everyone make sure you check out the links in the show notes because we'll drop those there for you and make sure you follow. All right. So now we're going to transition to three things with Prina. Going to ask you three questions that just helps our audience get to know you a little bit better. The first question is a two-parter, and it is, how do you start and end your day?
I start my day almost always with a big tub of water because if I am not very good with keeping up with my hydration during the day. So if I don't start with that,
Mhm.
it's not gonna it just I just don't drink enough water. So after I
Mhm.
freshen up, I apply our reusable eye patches from Step Zero, and then I get myself like a whole lot of water. And I have two cats, so I make sure that I spend some time playing with them, feeding them, and then taking them out, get some vitamin D for all of us.
Mhm.
I end my day I believe in manifestation and visualization, and both personally and professionally, I have big goals, and so I just like to end my day visualizing, what my next step, my goals are, and it's a great way to give thanks and also prepare yourself for the goals that you've set for yourself.
Awesome. All right. And the second question is, what's a goal or an intention that you've set for yourself this year?
Yeah, an intention that I set for myself at the start of this year, and I'm very proud to say that I've mostly, adhered to it, is to just make the ask. It we I think I self-select and or rather self-reject, and I'm like, "Oh, this is, like, not gonna work out," without even trying, without even making the ask, without even asking for help, or whether it could be anything, both personally and professionally.
Mhm.
This year has been about taking the risk, making the ask, being okay if it's a no, and being excited if it's a yes.
Yes, awesome. Love that. And the last question is, where are you currently finding inspiration?
Uh, for inspiration, I think, as somebody trying to grow a business, it's so easy to stay very narrowly focused on your industry and your products. But I really think that there's so much creative things happening, both in terms of product, branding, design, in adjacent industries like food and beverages and fashion. So I like to try to keep up with those industries. So it's the adjacencies that you find the inspiration in,
Mhm.
as opposed to, just staying in your lane.
Yes, awesome. All right, so before I let you go, I'm gonna ask you one last question, and that is, what are 3 things you'd like people to take away from our conversation today?
Know your target audience, because that is going to be the primary pillar of your business or your service. Don't be scared to go narrow in the beginning. That's where you build community, that's where you build trust, and test everything and improve from there.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Prerna, it has been a joy having you on the show, and man, congratulations on everything that is happening for you and the business, and you can always come back here in the future and share with us.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed answering all these questions so much.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's just thank Prerna again for coming here and dropping all this good information for us today. As I just told her, I love when I get to have these conversations with people about brand. Working in marketing myself, like in the corporate space, it's just always cool to like have a conversation. We talk a lot about in my day to day, talk a lot about pain points and problems that we're solving and reaching the right audience. But she really gave some great strategies that anybody out there can use to build a professional or small business brand. So make sure you check out the links in the show notes. All right, if you'd like to learn more about Glow Up Girl, make sure you visit the website at glowupgirl.com. If you love this episode, or if you loved any of the previous episodes and you're thinking to yourself, oh, so and so would love hearing more about this topic, make sure you share. After all, sharing is caring. If you are new to the podcast community, I want to say welcome and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to stop in. I know there are a lot of shows that you could be listening to, but I am grateful that you decided to stop in and listen to Glow Up Girl. All right, if you've been in this community, as always, thank you so much for the support. Check us out on YouTube. If you haven't, we are at Glow Up Girl. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, do all the things. If you're on a platform, you can rate or review us. Make sure you do that. And if you're sharing any social media content, make sure you tag us. All right, last, if you have any thoughts, ideas on the show, people I should be talking to, make sure you send an email to hello@glowupgirl.com or shoot a DM on Instagram. All right, that is it, my friends. We got it. Thank you again. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen wherever you may be in the world. So until next time, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.